Can you tell me more about the role that 3D models play within, workflows within subcontractors and how your teams are incorporating them today?
Yeah, definitely. So I kind of touched on it in the first topic. We spend millions of dollars drawing, coordinating, working directly with architects, engineers to get a design done. Um, so I mean, just from the start, just at a design level, we do a bunch of stuff like called integrated design, where our tradesmen are also in these central models. Working directly with engineers, architects, and getting through that system. Then you go, once the design is complete, go into MEP coordination, and everything that you bid on, you estimated on. Now it's time to go into fabrication. So our fabrication derives directly from the 3D models as well. We're not generating reports out of Revit. We're using the live model to pull BOMs based off of what you can see, based off of packages. We have, our field teams working directly with our VDC teams, looking at these models in that accommodated environment that I'm talking about, and coming up with a plan, a schedule. You need this set of parts delivered on this day. That dashboard that we have has a hyperlink directly to the 3D models. Those 3D models, instantly you can look at it, tell what assemblies are getting put together, what numbers are getting put together for the field. In that same package, you generate all your cut files, your machining files, whatever it may be. It's all driven from that 3D model environment. Now, once you're into fabrication, like I said, our shops are all set up. I touched on that earlier. We're not looking at a PDF even anymore. We're looking at our VDC putting together the spools, communicating with the field teams, and then now the shop's referencing those spools in that same environment. So now VDC is pointed here, the shop is pointed here, and the field is all pointed to the same location. And they're getting it built, getting all their BOMs, everything that they need to order directly from that 3D model. Now we're into fab. We're also tracking cards, job sites, everything through that same system. Now it's in the field. Now the field gets a truck delivered that says package name, blah, blah, blah. They're tracking, they're the ones putting in those delivery dates tied to the 3D model as well. So now they can open up, see what's going to be going into the cart and what they're supposed to be putting up in the air, what was pre-assembled, prefab by the shop. I've had guys that literally open up just their package viewer, 3D isometric, take a screenshot, send it to an inkjet printer, and hand it to their guys. Hey, this is what you're putting up, to reference with what like shop prints and things like that. So now it's even more, right? We're exploring some technologies that I can't believe how integrated everything is, from our Revit model directly to a web browser, generate an issue in the web browser, have that sucked into your Revit model, open up, can I say, like Navisworks, for example, open that same model up, create issues in there. It all connects, it all ties together. So now we're opening up, easy communication lines where we used to pick up the phone and say, hey, on level 3, can you check out this print? Give me a chance here. Now our field teams can go in, same with our VDC teams, and communicate directly with either the print or the live model, because you need to tie it to geometry for this system to work. It's really cool. It's available across all aspects and super powerful. But, so much money goes into modeling, and all of our fabrication parts and pieces come from models. Now it's just kind of crazy how it's all leveraged across streams now, where it used to just live in VDC land and then you track on paper. It's no longer like that. The field is tied into the 3D model almost as much as your VDC team.
I don't even know where to start because I'm so excited by everything that you just shared. I feel like your team is setting up, like, remember when BIM first started becoming a thing, and the promised land was very similar to what you're communicating right now, and then it didn't really feel that way when we were starting to actually get in the mix with all the different teams. As all of these technologies start to become more integrated, as you're alluding to, regardless of what platforms you're centered on, to be able to have that real-time conversation without having to export things and disconnect things and manually move data is such a win for so many different reasons, whether it's rework, whether it's making sure people are aware and informed, whether it's documentation and keeping your owners excited about the progress that they're on and they can visually see where you're at. There's so many nuances there. And I'm curious what Lamb's perspective is in this ecosystem is, because I think, like myself, he's a bit of a data nerd, and the amount of data that we have access to right now is unprecedented, but we have to be setting ourselves up to actually use and take advantage of that data. Because if we're capturing data just to capture data, cool. But if we set up our systems and our processes and capture that data with intent, the outcome of that has a big ROI that I think a lot of organizations are starting to realize in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, it's the foundation. And for any subcontractor, it sounds like Matt's running his shop that way. It is the center of the universe, because you're authoring the files there, and if they can become bigger and more robust with the amount of data you can put into them, which the applications let you do. I mean, you think of, you're referencing BIM in its infancy, and we talked about all that, but it's a reality today because the systems can run it. You can view it on the web, you can view it on mobile. All these different ways allow connectivity to the data. So if you build your environment out and you put the systems and tools in place, it is the center. So you need to tie everything back into that, either bi-directionally or at least one directionally, getting the data out of the model into the other application so that you're providing real-time information. And we've definitely gone down that road and are being very successful with it, and it is the future.
Yeah. And if this sounds overwhelming to anybody out there too, the one thing I always like to remind everybody when we're considering moving forward in our digital journey or starting to make changes in our workflows like this is, you don't have to boil the ocean when you start this whole process. Like, pick one area that you either are already really advanced in, or you have very excited people who are interested in doing this, and start making those changes there. If you just try to change your whole process and your whole org, people are going to freak out. You're going to potentially put yourself at risk. So you start your pilot and you build on that. You show everybody, hey, this is rad and this is why. And then you start getting some of those hesitant people to kind of dig in.